Aerodactyl VSTAR is super strong and super disruptive. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchanning here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game online deck tech, and today I wanted to cover Aerodactyl VSTAR. This card I think is really underrated. It has a very strong attack, and it has a lot of great synergy with a bunch of other Lost Zone cards, and it's also a really disruptive kind of card with that Ancient Star VSTAR power. So what am I talking about here? The Lost Dive attack, fighting 2 colors, 240 damage, and you put the top 3 cards of your deck into the Lost Zone. Very strong when you consider that you want to power up things like Sableye, you want Mirage Gate, you got Fantina, you want to use all these kind of cards that require that you have cards in the Lost Zone. So Aerodactyl VSTAR very good in that sense, and the Ancient Star VSTAR power is really strong. It basically turns this Aerodactyl into a Pokemon with an ability that says Pokemon V don't have an ability. Like your opponents, obviously. So, no Crobats, no Lumineons, no Palkia V-Stars, no Kyurem VMAX, no Empoleon. A lot of those ability-heavy Pokemon V decks just kind of stop functioning when you utilize Ancient Star, and that makes it very strong. Now, what else are we working with in this deck? Well, we are working with Barbaracle. It has the Lost Block ability, which reads your opponent puts any prize cards they would take in the Lost Zone instead of their hand. Now think about how strong that is. Your opponent has their last boss prize, and if they find that boss, they win the game. They take 2 prizes, but they go right into the Lost Zone. That is insane. That is so powerful. And we just have a 1/1 line in case we can get it out. However, it's very strong when it works in conjunction with Lost City, which whenever a Pokemon is knocked out, it goes into the Lost Zone. So you're really going to be making your opponent's Lost Zone very good, but this deck's really good against Lost Box because it puts Sableye in the Lost Zone, puts Radiant Charizards in the Lost Zone, puts a lot of cards in the Lost Zone. So, with all this Lost Zone talk, you've probably clued in by now. We're using the Lost Zone engine with Comfey and Cramorant and Sableye and Battle VIP Pass, you know, just kind of standard stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because a lot of people already know what this does. I'm going to go very quickly though. We have a lot of switching options. We got like Lost Vacuum, so we can get rid of a stadium and put one of our cards in the Lost Zone, or get rid of a tool and do the same. We got Mirage Gate, so we can power up our Aerodactyl with searching for 2 different basic energy cards and attaching them in any way we like, as long as we have 7 cards in the Lost Zone. Quick Ball, 2 of them. Ultra Ball, 1 of them. 4 Scoop Ups a switch. Lost City I went over. Colress Experiment is the main supporter of this deck. We can look at the top 5 cards of our deck, 3 into our hand, 2 into the Lost Zone. Pretty straightforward at this point. Now, the only other cards I really want to cover, Choice Belt, very strong because it lets us hit 270, and with Grant, we can actually hit 300 damage, which really gets our Pokemon, or gets our opponent's Pokemon with either KO'd or in range to be KO'd by a Sableye down the line. So that's kind of what our little strategy is. We also have Fantina in here. If we have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, we can play this card, and all of our Pokemon take 120 less from Pokemon V, which makes our Aerodactyl VSTAR's survivability a little bit higher. We couple that with, we have 3 Boss's Orders here, just so we can target up our opponent's Pokemon. And then we have 7 Fighting Energy and 3 Psychic Energy, and that is basically the deck. Pretty straightforward. I'm not going to waste any more time. I want to hop into some games and get some dubs with Aerodactyl. My opponent calling the coin flip here. Tails never fails. It never does fail me. We're absolutely going to go first with this deck. And Comfey in the active would have been pretty good, but starting Aerodactyl is not too bad either. We only got a 1 retreat cost, so we can even bring it back to the bench if we so desire. We're going to start off with a Hisuian Heavy Ball, grabbing ourselves a Comfey, which is good. We don't have to really Quick Ball anything away. But I think I'm actually going to Quick Ball away this Aerodactyl and grab ourselves, take a peek what we have. We have the Binacles, we have the Barbaracles. We can maybe grab another Comfey, or I would like to grab this Binacle actually and play it down. Now we can retreat into our Comfey. Flower selecting. We're going to grab that Colress for next turn. And we're not even going to... Do we need the Lost City just yet? I don't think so. So I think we're just going to pass it on over to my opponent. Not a crazy start from us. No Battle VIP Pass or anything along those lines. But I'm pretty excited to see how our deck fares against what my opponent is playing. They get a Battle VIP with water. This could be Palkia, and it looks like it's going to be Palkia Kyurem. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a struggle for us, I will say. Going to be a bit of a tough matchup. However, if we can get the Ancient Star down, we might be able to save our high knees a little bit. And I think with the combination of Colress and Comfey, we absolutely can get that into play. They have the Crobat down. They're going to attach the Kyurem. They might have a switch, and they can actually rapid freeze, which would be a little bit of a struggle for us. But you know what? That's okay. I want to just see what my opponent does. I'm not going to get ahead of myself because they already attached an energy, so they can't attach retreat. There is an Oranguru coming out. Now, this is make or break. We need to get our Aerodactyl VSTAR into play and Ancient Star into the active. And we found a Quick Ball, which isn't fantastic. So first off, I think I'm going to get rid of this Lost City here. Not too important in this matchup. Grab ourselves another Comfey. And now we're going to have to really maneuver our way around this. We can grab a Fighting Energy. That's one piece of the puzzle. And now with Colress Experiment, we got to see what else we got. We could use Boost Shake. Oh man, this isn't a very good spread of cards here. We're not able to retreat and V-Star. So I think the play is just attaching, retreating, and we're just gonna Flower Selecting once more. Grab another Colress for next turn at the very least. And we currently have 5 in the Lost Zone, so we're okay right now. I think we're just gonna hit done and wait and see what my opponent does. They could have a huge knockout on our Aerodactyl, which would really not be great. They might not have a huge knockout on our Aerodactyl. We'll have to see what they do here. Whiffing that Ancient Star is actually really, really detrimental to us, I will say, because we would you want to get that down in this matchup. This matchup is so V Pokemon ability reliant that like you want to get this matchup, you know, under wraps, and we really could have if we found that Ancient Star, but that's okay. My opponent going for the Irida here, so which means no boss is going to come out. However, they might even play cross switchers in here, which would be an issue for us for sure. But we're going to see what they do. If they take out my Comfey, I'm not going to be super disappointed, because next turn we can actually utilize Aerodactyl VSTAR. My opponent going to switch into Kyurem, play Palkia VSTAR, and they have 3 energy in the discard, but they're actually going to energy retrieval. Okay, pretty interesting. I thought they would just VSTAR power right away, considering they can use that, but Max Frost is going to knock out our Comfey by discarding no energy. And now we can, maybe that Lost City would have been good. We could have put that Comfey into the discard pile, but that's okay, or into the Lost Zone. We're going to first Flower Selecting. I'm afraid we need the Sableye for later on, because, yeah, we should just keep that. Now we're going to Colress, and we get the VSTAR. Get a switch, but we need something else. We have 2, we're running a little bit low on energy. 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 6 energy right there. The Lost Vacuum could help us a little bit more. I think we'll just grab this, play down this Comfey, and then switch into it. We need to find ourselves something else here. Another Comfey coming out. We could, oh man, but this is so interesting. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We could have even gotten a Lost Mine here if we, man, if we had another, we just needed one more piece to the puzzle, you know? That's okay. I'm going to attach to Aerodactyl. I don't think I want to evolve it just yet, because 210 to 260 HP isn't that much of a difference. But I do want to play Lost City. Play this other Comfey. I do want to play Lost City down. And we're just going to say, done. Now, if my opponent has a boss, we're not having a good time. But if they don't have a boss, we might very much be able to do something here. We're really just not finding the pieces we need when we need them, which is unfortunate. We really needed to find that Mirage Gate. I don't know how we haven't seen any yet. We're like 20 cards left in deck. We haven't seen any Mirage Gate. My opponent's still having Star Portal access here, which really, really sucks. Because if we were able to get this Aerodactyl off, we should have just switched into the Aerodactyl and used the VSTAR power here, but then we could have gotten stuck in the active. So it's really like a huge dilemma whether we want to use it or not. That's why Aerodactyl is really hit or miss. And my opponent can just knock out the Comfey, and that's what they're going to do. So now, this is for all the marbles. 10 cards in the Lost Zone. We could have brought up Sableye if it was in the active, or we can bring up Aerodactyl VSTAR. But I don't know if we're going to just draw into a Mirage Gate here. Get the Colress, so we're going to Flower Selecting. We'll grab another VSTAR, and we're going to Colress Experiment here. Finally finding a Mirage Gate. We can get Mirage Gate, Cram, and Grant, I believe, are the right calls here. And now let's utilize Mirage Gate. We got 2 energy coming into play. Play our fellas onto the bench. And now my opponent can take the knockout with Max Frost. They definitely have something in their hand, but I think going for the full Aerodactyl play is the play. I think we kind of have to just go all in and Lost Dive our opponent, getting rid of 3 cards into the Lost Zone. And we really, I don't know, this was tough. We can take them out with Sableye if they don't have a wash energy, but they can just easily knock out our Aerodactyl VSTAR right now. Which, you know, it's a little bit of an interesting dilemma, I will say. I don't know, the Aerodactyl VSTAR, I'm not too sure how I feel about it, because Aerodactyl VSTAR can just get knocked out with all this, you know, just 3 energy on the Kyurem, you can say goodbye to Aerodactyl, right? We can have Sableye access, which will get us a couple prizes, but after that, I don't know what we can do, unless we find a way to recover a bunch of energy that we don't play, you know? So Lost, like, what's it called? Lost Dive really is a double-edged sword here, because on one hand, it's really good at powering stuff up, and you get a lot of cards in the Lost Zone, but on the other hand, you lose so many of your resources. Glaciated World, they discard all their energy, and they just knock out Aerodactyl VSTAR here. So our hope, I would say, is to try and trap something in the active, but what can we trap? Well, we could, Barbaracle would have been good earlier on. We can utilize this Training Court and get back some energy while we're at it. At the very least, we can boss up something like, I don't know, is Palkia worth bossing up? Or maybe this Kyurem? This is what I'm trying to figure out, because we can actually just... What do we want to bring up here? We can bring up this Kyurem and then the Sableye is just begging to get knocked out. Or we can bring up something like Palkia and force them into using their VSTAR power. I think that's the play. We lost mine. We put 6 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we can put the rest on this Kyurem. Take that Kyurem into the discard pile. Grab another Sableye. We don't have any more Psychic Energy, unfortunately. We actually might be able to use one with Training Court. Get one back if it's in the discard, because I think it is. There's that Star Portal coming out. We kind of just wanted to bait it here, because it's an interesting matchup. And they can power up Radiant Greninja. If they have that switch-in option, they have the Air Balloon, then they're going to be able to knock out 2 Comfeys and take the game. But we actually were able to kind of crawl back a little bit afterwards. After Aerodactyl got knocked out, we actually might have had the win if we had an extra turn or two. Not getting that VSTAR power out really, really was unfortunate. But this is actually a really good game to showcase the potential power of Aerodactyl as well as the shortcomings that it faces. So what do you think of my Aerodactyl VSTAR deck? I really like the card, but I'm not too sure about how competitive it is, I will say. Ancient Star is a really cool concept, but it's not very practical. Like, you know, in practice, there's not too much to it. Because you need to be in the active spot. If it was an ability, if it was a VSTAR ability that you kind of like flip it over and use it, it would have been a lot stronger. But like having it on an attack is kind of just impossible to achieve, because you have to get stuck in the active. You have low HP already. You go from a 1 retreat cost to a 2 retreat cost. Like, everything's kind of stacked against Aerodactyl. But I still really like the card, and I think if people play with it a little bit more, they're going to be able to find some cool combinations. I love Barbaracle in here, I will say. I don't know how I love the Boost Shake. The Boost Shake can come in clutch a lot of the time if you find it. However, I think getting rid of it in opting for more cards that are consistent, such as Mirage Gate, and maybe some more energy, maybe another fighting energy, or like a double turbo, for example, because Lost Dive works with double turbo, could be a lot better of an option here. But other than that, I really do like my build. I think it's a lot of fun to play with, and it's just a matter of changing some cards around and tweaking and making the deck as consistent as it can be. But what do you think of Aerodactyl VSTAR? What do you think of the actual Ancient Star VSTAR power? I'm very curious to know. I want you to like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below your thoughts on this deck. What did you like? What did you dislike? What would you change? And what would you keep? And subscribe to the channel. I post 2 new Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. So subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And with all that said and done, Hitmonchanting out.